Hi, I'm Mrs. Bowl, as most of you know, and today we're going to spend the day with my brother Jim, who some of you have already met. And right now he's just getting up this morning and he's dressed and laying in bed. And I thought we would watch how he gets put into his wheelchair. His attendant is with him, and we'll just watch how Jim is being put into his chair. And then we'll come back a little bit later and Jim will tell you how he became a quadriplegic and explain to you what a quadriplegic is. So follow me. Jim's attendant's name is Greg, and he's helping Jim get into his wheelchair for the day. And this is the way Jim starts his morning. Okay, Jim is using his electric wheelchair, and he has a little bit more to get ready. And I'm still in your way. Okay.
I just need to straighten my pants up and everything so I look decent. This might take a little bit more.
Okay, we don't have to tape all of it, just so the kids get an idea of how he gets up. So while Greg is busy making Jim's bed, Jim's going to lay back in his chair. He'll show you how his chair can go backwards to lay him down and bring his feet up. And then Greg will finish getting Jim ready for the day by shaving him. And what else, Jim?
Well, right now I just got to get adjusted in my chair so I'm
Okay.
comfortable. Because I got to sit all day long.
All right. By laying back, Greg can help him get adjusted in his chair so that he's comfortable for the day. He brings his feet up. Okay, Jim's got on one of his favorite t-shirts here, just to let you know he's not a Viking fan. He's a Green Bay Packer fan because he's from Wisconsin and now living in Arizona, and he'll explain to you later why he moved to Arizona. But you can watch now the process of how he gets a sweater on, gets his arms through the sleeve holes. Nice looking sweater, Jim. He helps Greg as much as he can by kind of leaning forward, and now by putting the chair back they can get it nice and straight. Any kind of wrinkles on Jim's shirts puts pressure on his skin and can cause sores on his skin because he can't feel when there's pressure on his skin like you can. So we have to make sure, Greg has to make sure that everything's nice and smooth. Greg, how long does it take you to get Jim ready in the morning?
It takes us about an hour, a little more some days, depending on the weather, how much clothing he needs to wear to stay warm outside. It might take us a little bit longer. In the summers, we're a little bit quicker. Winter months, we add maybe 10, 15 minutes.
To Greg and explain what you're doing.
We're on.
Okay, now that we have the sweater on, we're gonna put Jim's seat belt on. And this helps him so that if his chair bounces or if he hits any obstacles, he's not gonna fall forward out of the chair. And the goal when we do a lot of the dressing is to have Jim's clothing
Just go ahead and do it from my sweater forward.
in a manner that when he's finally sitting upright, everything's comfortable for him, and that his arms have full mobility in the shoulders so that he can move around just like all of us during the day and get his work done.
All right, I'd like to formally introduce you to my brother, Jim Haymauer. And is it okay if we call you Jim, or would you prefer Uncle Jim?
Uncle Jim.
Uncle Jim, okay.
Just don't call me late for dinner.
All right, now that he's ready for the day, you see that he's all dressed and ready to go, and he's been up since probably 6, getting ready for the day, and while Greg's fixing his breakfast, Jim, can you tell us a little bit what has caused you to be in a wheelchair?
Okay, when I was 15 years old, I was out swimming with some friends and dove into some shallow water. And what happened is, I hit my head on the bottom and broke my neck. Do you know the vertebrae in your neck? Okay, I broke the 4th and 5th vertebrae in my neck, and it severed the spinal cord. The spinal cord is what carries the messages from your brain down to your legs and to your arms. So when my brain tells my legs to move, they don't move. It's kind of like cutting a telephone wire. If you're talking to somebody on the telephone and somebody cuts the wires, those signals get through so they don't hear you. So my legs don't hear the signals from my brain. Thus, I can't move my legs at all, or my fingers or things like that. And my condition is called quadriplegia. I'm a quadriplegia. Quad means 4, meaning it affects both my legs and my arms, 4 limbs of my body. And I have no feeling from my chest down to my toes, or I can't move my fingers or my legs.
How old are you now, Jim?
48.
And so the accident happened how many years ago?
32 and a half years ago.
Okay. I've been noticing your hands, Jim. Of course, I know about this, but maybe you can explain to the kids, your hands don't look like their hands look anymore.
No.
They did at one time, I remember that.
Right. That's because I didn't exercise them, like move them around. You move your fingers every day, so your muscles remain loose. Mine, because I don't move them, they have a tendency to tighten up. Part of that is because I didn't exercise them enough the way I should have. But it doesn't hurt, and it doesn't cause any problems. So that's just kind of what happens.
Can you tell us a little bit about your wheelchair here while Greg is still working on breakfast?
Well, my wheelchair helps me move around because I can't stand up and get blood circulating through my body. My chair is made so that I can do things like tilt back. So let's say I'm watching the Packers beat the Minnesota Vikings. I just, lay back and enjoy the game. Or I can elevate my feet. That helps my blood circulate. So my skin gets the oxygen and the nutrients that it needs. Or if I get real bored with the Packers and the Vikings, then I lay back and I'll take a little nap because I know that the Green Bay Packers are going to win. So, but what it does is it helps me move other than just a little bit that I can when I'm sitting up.
Is that kind of like when the boys and girls at school get wiggly in their chairs and they have to stand up and move around a little bit?
If you sit in a chair for a long period of time, your butt gets sore. And that's because the pressure of your weight is cutting off the blood circulation. And when your butt gets sore, you don't even know that it happens. You just kind of move around, or you fidget around, or you might stand up, or because you're moving so much, you don't really realize it. But I sit all day long, and that allows me reclining back to get the weight off my skin so the blood circulates.
Do you feel it when your butt is sore?
No. That's why I do this out of habit. I try to do it once every hour, and then when I'm in bed at night, Greg will look at my skin to make sure there's no red spots or things like that, because a red spot is an indication that a sore is starting. Breakfast, and because I can't use my hands, Greg will just feed me. I usually have an apple for breakfast, some fruit, and I like a little peanut butter on my apple. Might sound a little strange, but it tastes good.
Do you have to worry about what you eat, Jim?
Not really, just as long as I don't eat too much.
My name is Greg Imlay, and I'm Jim's assistant, and actually Jim has 2 assistants, and I work with Jim in the mornings to help him get ready for work. And I'm a student over at Arizona State University, and I met Jim through a friend, another student, and she introduced me to Jim, and I got involved helping Jim because I'm interested in going to medical school and had some experience working with people with head injuries from a prior job, and so Jim and I met and we kind of hit it off really well. We get along really good, and so it seemed like a good opportunity for both of us, and that's how I got involved.
To our cameraman, so Jim's going to see if he can get this glass of orange juice by himself.
So what I'd really like to do is kind of focus in on.
Do you see how he has his arm underneath the counter? Kind of gives you leverage, Jim?
Parkinson's disease.
Something to hold on to.
And how movement patterns in Parkinson's is different than in healthy.
Well, those are just the pills and vitamins that I take. A couple of them are vitamins,
Okay.
one's for my heart, and 2 of them are for my heart. They're just the things that I take every day. That's the brace that I wear on my hand. If you notice, my hand just kind of flops down, and when it does that, it's not easy to do a lot of things. So I have this brace that I wear on my hand, and it just helps keep my hand in place so I can do things a lot easier. And it also is how I'm able to eat my dinner at night. I can put a spoon in there, but it just straps on, and he pulls the sleeve of my shirt down, and now it's easier for me to drive my chair and things like that because it's stabilized.